I'm a little confused about the timing of those. When will the critical 15 go in?
We will be at our board in January for the procurement of the generators, their consideration for procurement. There's an 18-month lead time.
Oh, I see.
With the supply chain issues and the demand, bless you, the demand for generators really across the state, we think that it will be at least 18 months. So we'll be working, but we won't be able to know that we can land those for at least 18 months. So through 2024 and 2025, those generators will be going on the ground. We'll be awarding construction contracts in 2023 where they can do some of the prep work, getting ready for the generators. There's a lot of work that needs to go internal to the facility. So we'll be doing that, but they won't be online till 2024 or 2025. That's when the diesel portion of it will be kicking off, and we hope to be landing diesel generators on our sites right after that.
And those are the 54?
There are 54 total stations, that's correct.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what was the difference between 15 and 54. So the timing is about the same. It's just one is the 54 are diesel, the 15 are critical.
In our emergency preparedness plan, which we were required to submit to the state, we told them it would take us 10 years to do it across all 54 stations. We think we can do it a lot faster than that. Our goal is to do it a lot faster than that.
Okay.
So there will be a little bit of overlap between the natural gas systems being in place and started and the diesel systems being designed.
Okay, and the generators, they're going to keep the water flowing, right? I mean, this is keeping the power going to keep your equipment moving?
That's correct.
Okay.
Their sole purpose is their primary purpose is for pushing water, but 99.99% of the time, we have very reliable power from CPS.
Okay.
If CPS needs additional power, they can run those at any time they want.
Okay. And so, I mean, I appreciate that. It's extra cautious backup, which is what we need, right? My concern is a little more for the immediate winter. So we don't have any generators for this year, for our winter coming up?
We do have some generators at our very smallest pump station. They're very small. Those are the pump stations that we will use for bulk water distribution if we have a problem up until that time. Small stations are usually in areas that are harder to get to, unfortunately. So that's why we've been working with the city, SAPD, and the city's Emergency Operations Center to make sure that we can manage traffic flow if we're in that type of an event.
And when you say bulk water distribution, what exactly do you mean? Are you talking about like bottled water or?
Well, you have two approaches to that. Bottled water, both of those we did bottled water, where the city set up their mass distribution sites at the SeaWorld parking lot, for example, and bulk water, where you can bring buckets and load up as many buckets of water, jugs, what have you. We'll just have water open and flowing there and a bunch of SAWS people helping out to get folks through.
Because my concern was the generator. I understand the need for the generator, but during the storm, it wasn't actually during the storm we had the problems. It was right after the snow had kind of cleared up. But in a lot of apartment complexes in my district, I'm sure across the city, their pipes had bust. Now, I know it's the responsibility of the landowner. That's not on you guys. But the fact of the matter was hundreds of people were without water. So, the city did the distribution at SeaWorld. We were very, very blessed that Walmart had donated a bunch of bottled water pallets to us and delivered them to these different apartment complexes. So it was really helpful. So I wasn't getting the generator and the bulk water distribution and the generator are two different. They're addressing two different issues, correct?
Once the generators are in place, there really should not be a reason for the bulk water distribution or the bottled water distribution. We should be able to keep the system operational long beyond a power loss.
Okay, because that's when it happened. It wasn't during the storm. It was it was about a week and a half after the storm that people were getting buckets and going to the pool to, sorry, but TMI, but like to flush, right? Like different things that they needed. So when we provided this bottled water, they were cooking, they were doing different things because for a week and a half or so after the storm, they still didn't have what they needed. And again, I want to be clear, it's not on SAW, it was the property owners, because they were predominantly in apartment complexes in my district.
And you may recall, by regulation, once we get our system completely repressurized, once we can demonstrate that we have disinfection across our entire system, then we collect our water samples. And you have to wait 24 hours for those, very similar to what Houston just went through, if you've seen all that in the media. But they had to wait to get those water samples back. And that's probably the most frustrating period, because we believe the water is completely potable and people can consume, but we have to wait for that process to run before we can lift the boil water notice overall.
We wouldn't want anybody to get sick on top of it. Yeah, I get it. Okay, thank you. Those are my main concerns. Congratulations on your retirement. We're sorry to lose you, but I'm sure you have all kinds of plans to not, to relax, hopefully.
I've loved my opportunity at SAWS, but it's time to let somebody else have all the fun.
Yeah, all right, good for you. Congratulations. Take care. Thank you, Chair.